off in at number 10, we have this very controversial picture. In this picture, we have Virender Drubal, who is currently seen being a terrorist. He is holding a device that looks like it can detonate himself. And around him, you can see a suicide vest. The world believed that this image was real. Everyone thought he was a Muslim suicide bomber. But he ended up being a Canadian who is not Muslim, he's actually Sikh. And he's not a terrorist. Why? Because this picture is not real. It's actually just an innocent picture. Let me show you guys. This is the original picture right here. It's just him holding an iPad. I mean, whoever faked this image is a very horrible person with no heart. It's not even funny. Virenda's face actually appeared all over the news and all over newspapers as one of the alleged terrorists for the Paris attacks. Up next, number 9, we have this. This is an image showing a giant squid that has been washed up at sea. It has been blocked off so no one can touch it. You can see that there's guards there who are preventing people from touching this giant pink squid. But this picture is not real. There are millions of people out there online right now who actually believe this. There are people saying, holy crap, this is unbelievable. I can't believe it's real. Alright, check this one out. This is number 8. We have this, one of a kind fish pig. Yes, I said it. Oink oink. This one is one heck of a catch of the day. Okay, maybe not. It's probably one of the photoshopped images of the day. I think this is actually amazingly done, so good job. So people believe that this was a fish pig. I'm not sure how. Because of all the details that went into this picture, it's really hard to believe that, it is not real. Let's move on to number 7. We have this picture. Let's analyze this one together. Okay, so it looks like there has been a very bad flooding and this car got stuck and the people got out to, oh my god, okay, hold on, wait a minute. There is a giant shark in the water. Everybody get back in your car. How the heck did this guy get there? Maybe there was like a nearby river and the shark just made its way there, but sharks don't live in rivers. And there's no ocean there. This is the road and beside it is just like land. So this makes absolutely no sense. And I'm not sure how people believe that this is real, but they do. It's just a really well photoshopped image. The shark is for sure from another picture, but whoever did it, they did a pretty damn good job. From shark attacks in a flood to now a very large rat, well, this brings us into number 6. Okay, let's look at this. If this rat was actually this big, I'm pretty sure this guy wouldn't be that happy about it. I would be freaking out. And I'm pretty sure you need more than just 2 sticks to hold this large fella up. Well, this picture is for sure fake. I actually found the original one and here it is. You guys are looking at it. This is the actual size of the rat. Yeah, it's a lot smaller. This is a little bit embarrassing, but I guess I found this picture quite entertaining. Number 5, how about a snake that was found on the side of the road? Well, the snake on the side of the road, that's believable, right? But what about a snake with 7 heads? Well, it's true. Here it is right here. You guys look at the picture. The group of people in the background, you need to stay very far away from it because they don't know what this thing is capable of doing. This is a new species. They're just so impressed by the 7-headed snake that they thought, it was good luck and they wanted to take pictures of it. It looks like this picture was taken in India just because of the types of clothes that the people are wearing in the background. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna go to India anytime soon because of this picture, but this is pictures you shouldn't believe, so we actually shouldn't believe this one. So maybe I can go to India and not be afraid of 7-headed snakes. But imagine people who thought that this picture was real, they would go there and ask the locals, snake, 7 heads. Where is he? But there is a such thing as a 2-headed snake, and there's actually many of them. They actually try to fight each other quite often. Moving into number 4, this picture totally tricked me when I first looked at it. Well, let's look at this one together. It looks like a fire truck in the distance, nothing too out of the ordinary. And it has this long hose that it needed to cross over a railroad track, and I'm thinking, yeah, this makes sense. So they built this contraption thing so the hose can go over the track, but the train can still be a train and use the track. Well, this is actually an April Fool's picture that hundreds of thousands of people still believe is true to this day. But when you actually think about it and analyze it, this picture is actually impossible. Looking back at this picture, a train would totally destroy that hose, splitting it into 2. But you know what? Nice try though. And also, this train has a chance of derailment. This is quite dangerous if this is real. At number 3, you guys have to take a look at this storm. This is Storm Sandy that happened in 2012. Although this picture might look stunning, it's fake. Hurricane Sandy was a tragic day, so I don't know why people are faking many pictures of this storm. This is just one of many. But I guess a lot of people just want attention or something. But this storm killed 233 people and it cost Americans $75 billion. This is no joke. This was the second costliest hurricane in US history. The only hurricane that caused more damages was Hurricane Katrina, a Category 5 hurricane. The hurricane cost $125 billion. Those hurricanes were only 7 years apart. So America had to pay $200 billion in natural disasters because of these hurricanes. So I mean, this is just one of the many reasons why America is trillions in debt. Now at number 2, we have some more fake pictures about nature. This one looks like it could be real, but it's not. It's clouds that form two hands and they're about to touch each other. I'm not sure why someone would want to fake this. I mean, we look up at the clouds and there's amazing moments up there, and I guess some of us capture it, but sometimes the moment just passes. But we can see things in the cloud, but never this distinctly. And when it comes to the internet, I guess we're slowly learning that it's very hard to believe on what goes on here. A lot of people get entertained by doing things like this. Maybe they do these fake photoshopped pictures out of boredom. But finally, in at number 1, I personally believe it's hard to believe this one, but it has fooled a lot of people. We'll take a look. This is a castle house that was built on a perfectly balanced rock. I mean, whoever photoshopped this made it seem as real as possible. They went to the full extent to put a boat near the rock, showing the internet how people would actually get to the rock house. And some people would say, you know what, that's true. This picture could be real. And there was a Photoshop ladder showing that the ladder is leading to either, staircase, or you know what, heck, let's take this to the next level. There's probably a freaking elevator in there, an escalator or something. But first of all, why spend so much money on something that this rock can just at any time it can split, demolish? And to build something like this, you need a lot of machinery, a lot of water cranes around it just to develop it. It's quite impossible.
Starting off this countdown, we have the secret entrances. Just last year, a man claimed to have found 3 hidden entrances that lead to Area 51. He discovered this after using Google Earth. He compared images of the base from different time periods. In one particular area in 1998, there seems to be no roads or entrance. Satellite pictures of that same location in 2005, 2010, and 2013 show a road and a dead end with what looks like an entrance and tunnel carved into a mountain. In fact, at the dead end, there appears to be cars parked there. Seems unusual for people to just park there, because what is around for them to do? Wander the barren plain alone? No, they're parking their cars there and then entering Area 51 through this secret entrance. In our 9th spot, we have the alien craft. What I'm about to show you is a leaked video and some photos from Area 51 of an alien spacecraft test. The video features a flying object hovering in the sky and moving in ways that other crafts definitely don't do. This was recorded on May 15, 2017, and then was leaked years later. If this isn't actually a UFO, then what could it be? That's what's baffling people. The way it just moves up and down and side to side that quickly is very strange, especially because of its size. What do you think though? Is this proof that Area 51 has gotten their hands on an alien spacecraft? Moving on to number 8, we have the transportation of a UFO. When this next photo was leaked online, it was met with a number of conspiracy theories. So this is the image of the CIA transporting a large part for one of their top secret projects. In fact, when this was getting transported, the CIA sealed off the entire highway. And I'm sure you can see why this was met with a number of conspiracy theories. Look at the shape of the thing that they're transporting. That is definitely a UFO or part of a UFO spaceship. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. Somehow, a group of bikers made it onto the road. When they were stopped by some soldiers, they asked what they were transporting, and the soldier said they found a UFO up in the mountains. Now apparently he said this jokingly, but who knows? In our 7th spot, we have the Tic Tac UFO. Last year, another UFO was spotted near Area 51. This one was given the name the Tic Tac UFO because of its tic tac shape and white or bright appearance. So this spacecraft was caught on footage by a person driving along near Area 51. He was driving along the extraterrestrial highway. That's the name given to the highway in Nevada, as a number of UFOs have been seen by drivers while on this route. At first, the driver thought that what he was seeing was just a cloud. When he got closer to it, he realized that it was definitely a craft of some kind. Later on, alien hunter Scott Waring confirmed that the UFO was in fact alien in origin. Also, the area in which he was driving through had a number of wind farms in the area. Turns out that in the past, a lot of UFOs have been spotted around wind farms, and one UFO even crashed into a windmill many years back. Some say this is because aliens are fascinated with human technology. In our 6th spot, we have Stephen Barron. In 2016, UFO hunter Steve Barron captured video and photographic evidence of another alien spacecraft close to Area 51. These were taken near his home in Las Vegas, Nevada, an hour drive from Area 51. Using a night vision camera, Steve head out to Red Rock Canyon to try and capture a UFO. The first couple of hours, there was nothing. Then he saw mysterious weird flashing lights appear over a mountain. He said this in regards to the UFO and its lights, and I quote, "First one, then two, then more and more. They put on a spectacular show. I am glad I was patient because the show they put on kept getting better and better." We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the CIA spy plane. In 2011, Los Angeles Times journalist Annie Jacobson published a book called Area 51, an uncensored history of America's top secret military base. In the book, she included a number of never-before-seen photos of the base. The first one I want to show you is of a CIA spy plane. This photo shows an A-12 ox cart hidden behind a barrier at Area 51. This was a top-secret plane that was created to reach high speeds and altitudes. During the first 3 years of testing this plane, everything was kept top secret. In fact, the pilots weren't even allowed to tell their wives what they were working on. On May 24, 1963, during a test flight, the plane crashed. The pilot, Ken Collins, was fine but had to eject himself out of the plane. But afterwards, the CIA actually injected him with sodium pentothal, aka truth serum, to then interrogate him after the crash. That's crazy. In our 4th spot, we have the rare photo. So this photo was also featured in Annie Jacobson's book Area 51, an uncensored history of America's top secret military base. In fact, this is a very rare photo that has never been published before. It was published for the first time in Annie's book, and that's it. This photo is an aerial view of Area 51 taken in 1964. I don't know why it was kept a secret for so long or how Annie got her hands on it, but she did and decided to share it with the world. Moving on at number 3, we have the early U-2 spy planes. In the early 1950s, at the peak of the Cold War, the CIA began to develop planes that they wanted to reach an altitude of 70,000 feet to avoid detection against Soviet radar. This gave birth to the U-2 spy planes that you see here in this picture. This photo was taken in Area 51 in 1956, and pictures of workers standing on the plane's wing. Sadly, at least 3 pilots lost their lives during test flights, including 2 at Area 51 and 1 at an Air Force base in Germany. Coming in at number 2, we have Boyd Bushman. Shortly before his death, former Area 51 engineer Boyd Bushman revealed that he encountered aliens while working at Area 51. In a video, Bushman shows a number of mysterious photos to the camera, including one of an alien and a number of photos of the alien's appendages.
We have a total of at least 18 that exist and operate with our facility.
Now, many people believe that this man is telling the truth. Why? Because he had nothing to gain or lose by sharing his story. Plus, an interrogator with the police studied Boyd's movements and speech pattern during this interview, and he said that it appears as if he's telling the truth. In the interview, he said that Area 51 has at least 18 of these aliens in their facility. He also claims that there are 2 groups of aliens. One group are called the Wranglers, the others are called the Rustlers. The aliens that are considered Wranglers are friendly and have a better relationship with humans. Rustlers, however, have been known to steal cattle. This is all insane. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Boyd Bushman and the UFO. During his interview, Boyd Bushman also revealed photos of real UFO spacecrafts that he saw while working at Area 51.
Up close and personal, this is a UFO which is ready to take off.
So that's a close-up photo of a UFO spacecraft taking off. Then he also showed a different photo of a UFO spacecraft with its lights turned off. What do you think though? Is Boyd telling the truth? Are those real photos of UFOs? Let me know in the comments.
At number 10, we have the Alaskan tree frog. Ah, the mythical Alaskan tree frog, as this is exactly what it is. A myth. This image of what is clearly a frozen garden ornament of some kind went viral after somebody shared it on Reddit in 2013. The post read, "The Alaskan tree frog freezes solid in the winter, its heart stopping, then thaws in the spring and merrily hops off." What a pretty picture. This literally, though, doesn't happen. There is such a thing as the wood frog, an amphibian that can survive with 2/3 of its blood frozen in Alaska. However, this is not the wood frog. This is a fake. Imposter frog. In at number 9, we have trypophobia. Okay guys, you need to listen because this absolutely needs to be stopped. I did a video about phobias earlier on in the year, and trypophobia is the fear of teeny tiny holes. Playing on this, dastardly photoshoppers have started splicing images of lotus pods onto skin to make the pods look like horrible skin conditions of doom, and I hate it, and it makes me feel sick, and you absolutely need to stop it right now. It is very, very fake though, so don't worry, except do worry because it's gross. Something that is also very, very, very fake, but hundreds of people believed it. In at number 8, we have the cross versus adult world. Despite some pretty awful photoshopping on that roof right there, people still believe that this giant cross went smashing into the roof of an adult store. Damn you to hell, vibrators and such. The picture was shared on Facebook over 400,000 times. It got all too much for Weather Channel meteorologist Ari Salsari, who basically called BS on it on Twitter. He said 410,000 shares on this dumb Photoshop pic, and it is awful Photoshop too, SMH. We have all seen that totally ironic picture of the CCTV camera outside George Orwell's house, haven't we? Well, news for you in at number 7, it is absolutely fake. That's right, in at number 7, we have the George Orwell CCTV irony shot. Author George Orwell wrote a cutting social commentary novel 1984, amongst other things. His novel depicted a dystopian future during which society was being constantly monitored. How ironic then that outside his old home on Portobello Road in London, that by his historic plaque there is a CCTV camera. Except there isn't, because it is absolutely fake. Photoshopped like a boss. Not fake per se, but not what you think. Next up we have this picture of the Loch Ness Monster at number 6. When skeletal remains of a weird looking creature were supposedly washed up on the shoreline of Loch Ness in Scotland in June 2016, loads of international and national newspapers went crazy, reporting that the Loch Ness Monster had been found dead. Not true. These bones and grisly remains were crafted by an art department for a television show. The mystery of the Loch Ness Monster remains unsolved. Another apparent Scottish mystery up next. In at number 5, we have fairy pools in Scotland. A load of people on Pinterest absolutely went crazy over this image of what people were calling Scotland's Isle of Skye fairy pools. The image shows a very beautiful river of an impossibly blue hue, framed by purple, yes, purple trees. So all we need to do to bask among these purple trees is go to Scotland, right? Well, it may be a wasted journey, as this place categorically isn't real. Actually, that's not totally true, it is a bit real. It's the Shotover River in New Zealand, and yeah, the trees aren't purple. However, you will be pleased to know that the water is really that blue. You may also be interested to know that the real fairy pools on the island of Skye are beautiful too, just not purple. There is, however, a pink lake, a real pink lake, Lake Hilla, off the coast of Western Australia. Next up, we have this image of a Japanese moon melon coming in at number 4. Sure, 20 years ago, most people would not have believed that this image of a Japanese moon melon, a bright blue melon, to be real. However, Japan has since manufactured square watermelons, so it's perfectly possible that they could make a blue one, right? Wrong. I mean, maybe they could inject it with colorings, but I don't think it would be this consistently blue. Absolute Photoshop. Photoshop can be used to trick us, but it can also be used to project an image from our absolute dreams, or I guess some people's dreams. Next up, we have chicken wing ice cream coming in at number 3. As much as some people wish that this picture of Perry's fried chicken ice cream was real, it isn't. This was indeed an April Fool's hoax by the good people of Perry's. They posted a statement on their site to say it was all just a big joke, but they were very surprised by the amount of order requests they got for the flavour. I mean, would you guys eat it? Maybe I would. In at number 2, we have a fake tsunami. Like Landon mentioned in his list, a lot of people seem to delight in faking storms. The amount of times poor Lady Liberty has had a giant storm cloud surrounding her head, or like a wave crashing over her from some Photoshop whim, is absolutely unreal. For some reason, a person also faked this picture of a tsunami wave, supposedly of the Asian tsunami of 2004. Now, one look at this picture tells us that it's fake. The waves were high, but not that high. Also, the cars look to be on the wrong side of the road for Indonesia and Thailand. I'm not even sure where this is supposed to be. To be honest, faking disaster pictures is kind of sick. Speaking of an image you are likely to know, up next at number 1, we have 9/11 Man. Okay, listen. Anyone who has been to New York in early September will know that you absolutely do not need a coat and hat, so they'll already have some questions as to the authenticity of this picture. This image of an alleged tourist on the top of one of the hit World Trade Centers went viral following the tragic attacks. You can see a low-flying plane in the background, presumably about to hit the tower. This picture has been proven to be photoshopped, and how did people find out? Well, the winter attire for one, the position of the plane flying from the north when the only tower with an observation deck was World Trade II, where the plane hit from the south. Finally, the plane shown is a Boeing 757 showing American Airlines markings. Now, American Airlines Flight 11, which hit the building, was actually a Boeing 767. The picture hurt many people who thought that they were seeing the horrifying moments before a man lost his life. Then, even more people were hurt when it was discovered to be a fake. To be honest, I have no idea what the motivation was here. It's kind of sick.
Kicking off the list at number 10, William Thomas Stead. Born in 1849, William Thomas Stead was the son of Congregationalist minister, and at the age of 22, he was appointed as editor of the Northern Echo, a regional newspaper in Darlington. This British medium, Richard Borsonov, featured a photo of W.T. Stead and a spirit. Or a demon. One of the two, both pretty terrifying. While William was investigating a spiritual case, he took this photo with what's supposed to be the spirit of Pete Botha. Now, the reason many believe that maybe the spirit is evil is that Stead later on died in the Titanic. He boarded the ship to take part in a peace congress at Carnegie Hall, and survivors mentioned William Thomas Stead a few times. Apparently at dinner, he was chatting his way throughout the entire 11-course meal, recounting exciting, spooky times in his life, even mentioning a cursed mummy that he encountered at the British Museum once. That's a little odd for table talk. He even gave his life jacket to another passenger that night too. Stead would often claim that he would one day pass due to hanging or to drowning. And right before he was to be awarded with the Nobel Peace Prize, he passed away due to the latter. Was he cursed? I believe so, to be honest with you. What do you guys think? Number 9, the demonic boy photograph. It doesn't matter where or when, but odds are you've probably seen this photo at some point. All those late nights when you're scrolling through Reddit, you've probably seen this at some point. I know I have, and every time I see it, I'm kind of like, it looks pretty real. It's pretty haunting. You know when you see a photo, sometimes you get bad vibes, like it registers in your brain as something scary and real. Like you want to find something that looks fake about the photo, but it's tough. This photo was taken inside the Amityville house in 1976. It appears to be a young boy or ghost, spirit, demon, whatever, with glowing white eyes. It was taken with automatic cameras equipped with infrared. And it makes it even creepier that the boy looks like he's peeking around the corner. Like he knew something was coming almost, he didn't want to get caught. That's the creepiest part here. A photographer named Gene Campbell took it, and Gene was working with paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren at the time. Yeah, the famous duo now rocking the big screen Conjuring universe. This was a real thing. They were on this case in real life. This photo was revealed 3 years after it was taken, and it was revealed on the Merv Griffin show. Imagine seeing this on a show, like Jimmy Kimmel whips this out. It's like, hey, we're gonna play Plinko. Check out this demon. Many believe this is the ghost of John DeFeo, one of the boys who lived there prior during the 1974 event. Now we're still trying to cover this one, but what do you guys think? Is this an elaborate hoax? Is this a young boy? Or is this one of the many demons that was said to haunt the house? Sound off down below. Number 8, the SS Watertown. This picture here perhaps is one of the creepiest on this list. I'm not sure what to think of this one. It comes from 1924 and it shows what appears to be two older men, or two older figures almost. I don't know, it's water, it's hard to tell. Some believe it's James Courtney and Michael Meehan in the water. Now the two had previously died and were buried at sea, hence that's why their first thought was them as to who it was. Other crew members saw these strange faces in the water as well, so when they turned back to get another look, 5 out of the 6 photos showed nothing. This was the only photo that showed what they saw. Are these the two lost crewmen, or is the vessel haunted by sinister forces? Number 7, backseat driver. This photo is from 1959. Okay, it was taken by a lady named Mabel Chinnery. And the photo at first glance is just a classic 60s shot of a man in a car. That man was Mabel's husband. Now the man in the back seat, however, that back left seat, we have no idea who that was. Her husband apparently was the only guy in the car at the time. And also, that's a pretty tough angle. If you wanted to recreate this photo with your friends after work, like try this. This is a really hard shot, even with phones now. It would be hard back in the day. It's like he's appearing to us through the seat almost with that angle. So either this is a lie, which happens often, people can lie, and a man was sitting in the back left seat, or like Mabel thinks, maybe this is her dead mother-in-law. Now, if she had said father-in-law, I think maybe it was his spirit, but this for sure looks like an older gentleman with a collar or something. Kind of looks like, dare I say it, the devil. I don't know, I read a lot of comic books. Number 6, Coventry Society Demon. You may be thinking, some of these may not be demons, Taylor, maybe they're just nice spirits who stuck around after they passed. Yeah, while it's nice to believe that, photos like this convince me otherwise. This is from the Coventry Freeman Society, and it shows everybody at this event dressed to the nines. But when you look at the top left corner over here, you see a hooded figure. Somebody that clearly doesn't belong with the vibe in this room at this event. Nobody else was seen also at any point at that night wearing a hood like this, so of course many believe it was a dark part of the afterlife photobombing this event. Honestly, I totally believe that. This is a weird one. The hood, maybe I've been watching Harry Potter lately, I don't know. Maybe it's a Dementor, we actually don't know. Number 5. The ghost pilot. Oh, this one gives me the creeps. I'm hoping it's just a friendly ghost. I included it because it's kind of nice, but you never really know, honestly. This one, I did some research, it's creepy. Any sort of spirit, I don't welcome. Yeah, I don't gamble on the afterlife. I'm actually all set. The ghost pilot is a photograph that shows a spirit from 1987. A woman named Mrs. Sayer was visiting an airfield in England, so of course, she did the classic tourist thing and got a photo in the cockpit. We all do it at some point, but do you ever think of who may have died in that exact spot before? After the age of 10 years old, I was like, you know what, I understand ghosts, I'm not gonna sit in that tank. I'm good, thanks. People swear the Titanic was a cursed ship and that spirits were responsible for the ship's bad luck. Now, next time you want to sit in the pilot's seat, look around for spirits, because this image was developed and it appears that somebody or something was in the helicopter with Miss Sayer the whole time. Number 4, the Paris Demon. Originally, the tunnels under Paris were built for stone mines, but near the end of the 18th century, it turned into something haunting. Cemeteries were starting to fill up, and I mean that in a literal sense, and humans didn't figure out how to be clean, so bodies would just be laying on the sides of the roads. They started to pile up over time, so the solution was to use these catacombs. They were no longer needed for those mines anymore, so might as well use them as a mass graveyard. And now we have the scariest basement in the world. We have walls of skulls that on one hand, it's cool as hell, it's natural history, it's gothic, yet beautiful, but when Google Maps tried to give a user an up-close look, it seemed to have caught a shadowy demon figure. With more than 6 million souls laying down there, it doesn't shock me to hear about something like this at all. There's a video of the street view, and in it you can see this figure. Check it out yourself. Number 3, Demons Are Us. For this next one, we'll be going down the Lego aisle. Yeah, how fun. A haunted Toys R Us. Can you imagine all those toys starting up at night by themselves? Bay Area's haunted Toys R Us is no longer a thing. Thankfully, as of 2018, that location closed down, but its tales, they live on forever. The Sunnyvale Toys R Us demonic presence appeared in the background of this photo. But of course, like others on this list, the people present at the time of the photo swear that nobody else was there. It's like everyone has bad memory, or everyone has good memory, I can't really tell right now. It's like, could this be a spirit or a demon caught on tape that just happens to be at a Toys R Us? I vote yes. Employees talked about creepy things happening there at night all the time, and the Sunnyvale store is indeed haunted by more than one ghost. That's what people say. The store stood where the Murphy farm once stood, so many think the spirit is the ghost of Johnny Johnson. I don't know, the fact that Ouija boards are a toy that is commonly used to, I don't know, communicate with spirits, maybe closing these doors was the best call. I don't think we welcomed in any good spirits. I don't think any spirits are clocking in for work, you know what I mean? Now it's closed, so I'm like, it didn't work. Whatever we tried, didn't work. Number 2, ghost boots. These boots are made for haunting, and that's just what they'll do. Yeah, I put a pair of boots on this list. That's where we're at now. This photo of a young girl may look like a classic family trip, but upon closer inspection, it seems like somebody or something is standing behind her. Now, of course, her father said that nobody was behind her at the time that it was taken, and I agree that, and like honestly, and I believe him. Honestly, that would be pretty weird if he was like, hey, can you stand right here? Yeah, you behind my daughter, don't move, but you stand right here in this open field, thanks. Ka-ching. I don't believe it, I don't buy it, it's weird. This shot was taken at Zushi Zenagawa, Japan, and you can see boots and what looks like clothing sticking out from behind the child's elbow. The kid's father said, I took a few photos, and when I was looking through them at night, I noticed the boots behind her. I took several photos in the same spot, but only one of them had boots. You always see that in movies, right? At night they're going through and they see like it's 2 a.m. It's never at a Walmart while it's being developed. They don't find these photos in a bright, busy area. It's always in like a dark kitchen. Ugh, it's creepy. So he freaked out and then put it on Reddit, and then now we're here. Full circle. And finally, coming in at number 1, cave drawings. I know these aren't photos, but come on, there's nothing more eerie than humanity's origin, right? Let's do it. Let's go back. Let's turn the clocks back. And for archaeologists from around the world, this cave system in France doubles as the world's oldest art gallery. These Paleolithic paintings are haunting to look at. They were created from humans about 20,000 years ago, and it's now considered a heritage site. There's many of these caves around the world. So if you're thinking about sneaking down there in the Lascaux caves and taking a look yourself, well, you better think again. The cave was opened originally in 1948, but due to carbon dioxide levels from visitors, it was closed in 1963. Learning about our history is challenging, and when it's slowly fading away, that surely doesn't help. Just gotta hold your breath while you read. This is crazy. I'm currently reading a book called Supernatural by Graham Hancock, and in it he tries to dig through history to find the origins of spirituality, and markings in caves like these ones from ages ago definitely help. They resemble these demon-looking creatures almost, and this is long before religion. These drawings were supposedly from hallucinations, but many believe it's one of the first accounts of a demon interacting with a human. It's just drawn on a cave wall. Pec Merle is a cave in France that also has these strange drawings, and some say they resemble aliens, others of course voting demons. What do you guys think? This is from 25,000 years ago. Write all your thoughts and concerns down in the comments.
Starting off this countdown, we have Gas Mask Island. About 110 miles south of Tokyo, Japan, there's a small island located in an area of the Pacific Ocean known as the Devil's Sea. The island is called Miyake-jima, otherwise known as Gas Mask Island. Now, why is it called Gas Mask Island? Well, this island is home to Mount Oyama, a very active volcano that emits poisonous sulfuric gas. So all of the residents have to carry gas masks with them all the time, just in case these gas levels rise unexpectedly. I honestly don't know why anyone would live there, like it's super deadly. And any photo taken there looks super apocalyptic, like this one. In fact, in 1953, the residents were evacuated from the island because the gas levels were dangerously high. But in 2005, they returned back to the island. They just now have to carry with them gas masks everywhere they go. And you thought wearing medical masks were bad, okay? Imagine wearing a gas mask. In our 9th spot, we have the shell-shocked soldier. This photo was taken back in 1916 during World War I. You might have seen this video before because it went viral on the internet since the soldier in the photo is suffering from shell shock, hence his facial expression. Upon researching, it seems like this soldier is Private Robert Lindsay Rogers. On the morning of September 16th, 1916, he was in a trench cleaning his rifle when he was hit in the neck by a sniper fire. Thankfully, he survived, but he was stuck laying in the trenches just bleeding out, waiting to be rescued. It's thought that this photo was taken when people came to his rescue. This photo is just so disturbing, knowing the horrors he went through and saw. But we have the giant Gippsland earthworm. If you don't like insects or creepy crawlies, then this photo is definitely one you don't want to see. This is a giant earthworm that can be found in Australia. Of course it's from Australia. It is roughly 1 meter long, but some have reached 3 meters, which is 9.8 feet, which is way too big. This thing is massive. On top of that, it weighs about 200 grams and have about 300 to 400 body segments. I'm sorry, but that's not a worm. That's a snake. Like, look how big it is. I am not okay with that. But also think about the big fish that you could catch with that worm. Honestly, why is it so big? Earthworms are meant to be tiny little creatures, not massive creatures like this one. Moving on to number 7, we have Chuck E. Cheese. Wanna know what's scarier than Chuck E. Cheese? Apocalyptic Chuck E. Cheese. So this photo was taken at a landfill and someone found the remains of an old Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. Apparently, whenever a Chuck E. Cheese location closes, everything has to be destroyed, and that's left up to the employees. So in this case, they did a pretty poor job at destroying Chucky. They do this so that collectors don't end up trash diving and getting their hands on these animatronics and then reselling them. Anyways, this one was found in landfill and it's absolutely terrifying. Like, imagine that thing turning on and blinking its big beady eyes at you. No thank you. Coming in at number 6, we have the hospital monitor. According to the person that took this photo, they're a nurse at a hospital. One night, they saw this dark figure looming over a patient's bed. They immediately snapped a photo of it and went to go check in on the patient. Sadly, after capturing that demon figure thing on camera, the patient passed away shortly afterwards. So they're convinced that that was a demon, and it was there to collect the soul of the patient that was passing away. Or it was the soul leaving the body of the patient. Either way, it looks terrifying and malicious. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Chernobyl. This photo was taken in 1996 by a man named Artur Korniev, who is also seen in the photo. This was taken after the Chernobyl disaster. Pictured there is something referred to as the elephant's foot, a large mass of black corium. It's given its name because it's shaped sort of like an elephant's foot. Now this thing is deadly. It emits high levels of radiation. Anyone exposed to it for minutes could die from radiation poisoning. But that didn't scare Artur away. In fact, the radiation was so strong that it affected the photos he took. That's why the photo looks grainy and kind of weird. It literally caused the film to develop strangely. Now what's shocking is that this man never passed away from radiation poisoning, although he has spent the most amount of time in close proximity with the elephant's foot. In our 4th spot, we have the nursing home. According to Reddit user 13th Safe, one night, something paranormal was happening at the nursing home where her mom worked at. A number of staff and residents witnessed doors opening and closing by themselves. Others saw call lights turning on and off by themselves in rooms where no one was. This photo was taken in the hospital 15 minutes after a patient passed away. The Reddit user believes that this is the soul of the person that passed away, or it's the Grim Reaper there to collect souls. So it's quite terrifying that they managed to capture this on camera. Moving on to number 3, we have the ghost in the back. This next photo was taken in 1943 in Hungary. It was uploaded by a man named Szigeti Gayonji. He claims that back in the day, his father took this picture of his mother. Upon reviewing it, they saw a ghost of a girl standing in the background. The girl had no arms or face. So they believe that this is a demon or something else evil. Now, this photo was taken on an old Polaroid camera. A lot of people thought that the photo was fake or edited, but he even uploaded the original small Polaroid as proof that, that's the way that the photo developed, which makes it that much more terrifying. She straight up looks like a ghost. Coming in at number 2, we have the school haunting. This story and photo was posted on Reddit by the user In the Lion's Mane. According to him, he's never been a believer in the paranormal until he had his own chilling experience and saw a real photo of a ghost. So he grew up in a small rural town. A couple years ago, the town was tearing down an old elementary school. A guy then went to the dilapidated school and decided to take some photos with his cell phone. And he managed to capture a ghost in one of the photos. Once the Reddit user saw this photo, it immediately changed his mind about ghosts and the paranormal. I mean, it's a terrifying photo. You can clearly see that there's a ghost of a boy standing there. Plus, he adds on that his town is super small and he doubts anyone there knows how to make fake pictures. So it's really creepy. And in our number 1 spot, we have Mademoiselle Blanche Monel. This is a sad, real story of a woman who was locked in her room for 25 years by her mother. So in 1875, a 25-year-old woman named Mademoiselle Blanche Monel fell in love with an older lawyer and planned to marry him. But her mother deeply disapproved. She didn't want her daughter marrying him. So she locked her away until she changed her mind. As a result, she was locked away in a room for 25 years. That was until someone found out that she was being locked away and called the authorities. When they came to her rescue, they were deeply disturbed. She was super gaunt looking from being malnourished. She also hadn't seen the light of day for years, and her room was covered in feces and bugs. Her mother was arrested and placed into prison for her terrible crime.
Number 10. Bigfoot has been around for hundreds of years. Now, some people think this is just a new phenomenon that has been made up, but But there have been Bigfoot sightings and reportings for hundreds of years. It first started in Canada as early as 1884 when the British colonists, a newspaper in Victoria, Canada, published an account of a gorilla-type creature captured in the area. Other accounts followed, according to the Canadian Encyclopedia. Sasquatch book author John Green compiled a list of 1,340 sightings through the 19th and 20th centuries. Now, the fact that this has been around for years and years makes me question people's doubts. Number 9. Face to face with the beast. Lawyer Matt Moneymaker lives in Dana Point in Southern California, and in his spare time he leads the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, which is a network of more than 3,000 people who claim to have seen the Sasquatch. In the woods of eastern Ohio, he claims he finally came eye to eye with it. He recounted this story, saying, "It was 2 o'clock in the morning and the moon was a quarter full. Suddenly, there he was, an 8-foot tall creature standing 15 feet away, growling at me. He wanted me to know that I was in the wrong place." Now, although he leads the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, no one from the organization has been able to snap a clear picture of the beast. Everyone there has their own experience with Bigfoot though. Number 8. Whitehall Trail. In 1976, multiple witnesses, including local police and a New York State trooper, said they saw a man-like beast standing over 7 to 8 feet tall and covered with hair. A blurry photo was taken from a Whitehall trail cam in 2010, and it is among hundreds of reported Bigfoot sightings across the state. Whitehall has its own Bigfoot event, the Sasquatch Calling Festival, with a competition for the best Bigfoot calls to attract the elusive animal. Bigfoot has reportedly been sighted in many other places, including Washington State in 2020, which kept the hope alive for the enthusiasts across the US. A Mayville, New York resident, Peter Weimer, told WGRZ that he's heard from 45 eyewitnesses who claim to have seen the Sasquatch in the area around Chautauqua Lake, located 60 miles south of Buffalo. There are 100 or more witnesses in Chautauqua County that aren't talking to me, Peter told the TV station. Now, according to WGRZ, the county is packed with dense forests and deep gorges where a large animal could live but rarely be seen, like the black bear. Peter, who sponsors the annual Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot Expo event for believers and fans, says footprints seen in nearby Asheville, New York are further evidence that Sasquatch is out there. Number 7. Vocalizations. Alleged vocalizations such as howls, screams, moans, grunts, whistles, and even a form of supposed language have been reported and allegedly recorded from Bigfoot. Some of these alleged vocalization recordings have been analyzed by individuals such as retired US Navy cryptologic linguistic Scott Nelson. He analyzed audio recordings from the early 1970s said to be recorded in the Sierra Nevada mountains, dubbed the Sierra Sounds. When speaking about his findings, he said, "It's definitely a language, it's definitely not in human origin, and it could not have been faked." So yeah, they have their own language we choose to ignore. Number 6. Footprints. Investigator Jimmy Chilcutt of the Conroe Police Department in Texas, who specializes in finger and footprints, has analyzed more than 150 casts of Bigfoot prints that Meldrum, the Idaho State professor, keeps in a laboratory. Jim says one footprint found in 1987 in Walla Walla in Washington State has convinced him that Bigfoot is real. He said, "The ridge flow pattern and the texture was completely different from anything I've seen. It certainly wasn't human and of no known primate that I've examined. The print ridges flowed lengthwise along the foot, unlike human prints which flow across. The texture of the ridges was about twice the thickness of a human, which indicated that this animal has a real thick skin." Now, number 5. Bigfoot-like creature found. Showman Frank Hansen exhibited the Iceman, a Bigfoot-like creature encased in ice at the International Livestock Exposition in Chicago. This relic of the Ice Age was found in the waters off Siberia. In December 1968, Bernard Hillevmans of Royal Institute of Natural Sciences of Belgium examined the creature in a trailer in Minnesota. They said, "We consider this to be a genuine and unique example of the most priceless specimen." In a scientific journal, Bernard declared that he discovered a new species of man. In April 1969, the Smithsonian appealed to the FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover for help. Hoover declined, citing the absence of a violation of a federal law within our investigation jurisdiction jurisdiction. It's reported that the US Customs would look into it, the body. After all, it was supposedly imported. Meanwhile, Frank put a model of the specimen on display. Number 4. Bigfoot video. The most famous Bigfoot video is a short film taken in 1967 by Roger Patterson and Bob Gilman, known as the Patterson film. Shot in Bluff Creek, the video shows what appears to be a large and hairy bipedal ape, or Bigfoot, striding through a clearing. The video's authenticity is still debated, with some thinking it was likely a hoax, with the ape-like figure just a human wearing a costume. Despite this, it is seen as one of the most compelling photographic evidence of Bigfoot. It appears to document a female Bigfoot striding along a riverbank in Northern California, and it certainly wasn't human. Number 3. Suing the government over Bigfoot. Todd Standing claims his first close encounter with Bigfoot was in 2005, and that it dramatically changed his life. The filmmaker and wilderness guide from Edmonton says he saw a 9-foot-tall bipedal creature with a very human-like face high up in the Rocky Mountains of British Columbia. He says he saw it stand up and squat down. His video of the sighting, posted on YouTube, has more than 300,000 views, and he is suing the provincial government of BC in an effort to prove the existence of Bigfoot in court. He says that provincial wildlife officials are turning a blind eye to his findings. His lawsuit calls for a judge to declare that Sasquatch exists and for a wildlife official to accompany him on a 3-month hunt for one of the creatures. He said, "I've seen Sasquatch so many times, I mean over 50 times. I filmed them 8 different times." He claims fish and wildlife officials are deliberately ignoring his findings, which do not include any actual specimens, living or dead. They won't look into the evidence, so that's why he must go to court to prove it. Number 2. A Bigfoot study. A Bigfoot study called the Sasquatch Genome Project was led by genetic scientists. It was a 5-year study and took almost $500,000 to fund. The group followed a mother and daughter Bigfoot in Kentucky, and they claim there's thousands of them in the USA. The group captured videos and photos as evidence, but they also acquired DNA. The DNA has given them a theory that this creature is a hybrid of human. The DNA was sent to UT Southwestern, New York University, and North Louisiana Crime Lab. The results came back as human, but others did not. The scientists say whether you want to accept it or not, they have found proof that Sasquatch is a human relative that arose approximately 15,000 years ago as a hybrid cross of a modern Homo sapiens with an unknown primate species. The group called for this to be recognized officially, saying the government at all levels must recognize them as indigenous people and immediately protect their human and constitutional rights against those who would see in their physical and cultural differences a license to hunt, trap, or kill them. And number 1. The FBI got involved. An Oregon man intent on proving the existence of a mythical creature known as Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Abominable Snowman, and Yeti in 1976 managed to get the FBI to test hair and tissue samples that he believed might help his case, according to newly released records. The FBI has analyzed hair in connection with the search for Sasquatch, aka Bigfoot. An internal FBI memo noted in February 1977 said, "The man who spurred the analysis, 93-year-old Peter Brine, told CNBC that he hasn't given up hope proving that Bigfoot is real, if exceedingly rare creature." FBI agent wrote back to Peter saying, "We will examine the hairs and tissue mentioned in your letter." It was the first time that the FBI apparently tested a sample of hair to see if it was Bigfoot, according to the records, which contained photocopied images of the hairs. The FBI said the examination of the hair concluded a study of morphological characteristics such as root structure, medullary structure, and cuticle thickness in addition to scale casts. Also, the hairs were compared directly with hairs of known origin under a comparison microscope. At the end of all that, it was concluded as a result of these examinations that the hairs are of deer family origin. The hair sample you submitted is being returned as enclosed in this letter, it said. Was it really deer hair, or were they covering up the fact that it actually was Bigfoot? The fact that they even tested the hair is insane.